What's up, everybody? I'm gonna break down a beat that I've already made for you, and today we are diving into Wilson by Handsome Naked.
Wilson, I'ma leave a red handprint on your face right now with these. Wilson.
Without further ado, let's dive right in. Here we are in the project. Let's zoom in on some stuff. Okay, so this is this song, that main sample happening the whole time is this one. Let's zoom in. So you can see that like I've chopped it up completely. I'm a big fan of working with actual audio and manipulating audio when I have the chance. I just think it's more fun. You can do more with it. I like to see the waveforms. I like to zoom way in and look at stuff. You can always turn on your waveform extender. Awesome. Let's check out what that sample is actually from. So I have up here is a bunch of hidden tracks, which is just stuff that I have, kind of done with for now for the project because the project is finished. And one of them is this, which is that main sample from the Castaway theme song. Here it is. Wait, it's gonna go up. This is good. Cool, great. So obviously then we go on, and this is the whole Castaway theme song. The only thing I was interested in using is that very beginning, this like gorgeous oboe solo. So that's what we grabbed, and that's what becomes the main sample throughout the entire song. So for me, I grabbed that, and let's take a peek. Half of this is going to be discovering what I did, so we can dive back into it. Let's take a peek at what we all did to that. It looks like just throw some EQ on it to get rid of a lot of those other things that are happening, right? And then we also have a decapitator on there. Just a distortion plugin that I love from Soundtwice. Always shout them out. The next part of this song, the main thing I think we got going, other than that sample, are these bells. Right? These very great trappy bells, which were tubular materials. Let's go find those. Because as you can see, I've actually already bounced the audio, and I've just been chopping up audio here, which I like because then we can do things to get our drops and everything to hit a lot harder. Same thing here. We can do. Just helps us establish some rhythm, make the sample a little more interesting, feel like it's cut up, and those type of all these great record scratches, which you accomplish with doing that fade out versus slow down. You got those tubular bells in there. That would have been this instrument up here. Let's peek at it. Gotta love sculpture instruments. I would have gone in and done some customizing this to make it sound exactly like I wanted them to. Let's see if we solo, you can hear them. So that is that bell, and then eventually once I found my pattern I liked, we bounced it in place and we started manipulating the audio. The audio is pretty dry. All it's got is it's just that reverb that it already had on it. What other elements we got going on here? Let's take a look. What is this guy? I'm guessing some sort of pad. Cool, so that plus the other two things we already have, right? I definitely know what I do with this. I love tremolo, right? It's instead of making things always go left and right, I love using that tremolo to give us that nice pulsing effect that we hear so much in EDM and so much in hip hop. But that would have been up here. We can see these analog spheres. Let's unmute the rest of this stuff and actually unmute the region itself, and you can hear it. So it's just chord stacking, and on top of that we have just a tremolo. So this is what it would have been before that tremolo. And I definitely went in here and slowed down the attack and did a few other things. And then we throw that tremolo back on, so we get that great moving feeling. Dope. Let's dive into some of these drums. If you include your 808 as part of your drums, this is what we have left. I know we have a chant in there and we have some vocal stuff, so I'll take that out for now. Dope. What's going on with this 808? So I am a big fan of the trap bass, as you guys know. you can get it right in Logic, and I'm sure it's one of these up here at the top that I've now moved because I'm done with it. I used it as MIDI. I would have gone in. I would have customized stuff. I like to crank the glide, as you can see, and just a much longer glide. Let's hear what this instrument sounds like. So you can hear that we get really long glide. We don't have a huge attack. I like that because our kick is accomplished in the attack, right? We can. That's where we have our attacks. We don't really need that super long attack on our 808. So that together, the two of those, if I can get my 808 and my kick to live in the same world so they're not always competing with each other, because so often our 808 is driving so heavy and so is the kick. That's just my goal, to make them work as almost one instrument. Yeah, so you can hear that. Throw a compressor onto that trap bass, and then you can do a little bit of a side chaining with it, so that way it really gets out of the way for your kick. Super dope. More complicated than I'm going to get into right this second. But that is our trap bass, and then we have a whole bunch of drums, which I always do my sampling in Ultra Beat. You can see that we have this clap, and yeah, pretty straightforward. We also have that sort of snappy, I called it snap, right? And that just has some stereo delay on it. And then we have those cool chants, the deep and then we also have the woo, which is just easily one of my favorites. So those have a little bit of a Renaissance compressor on it, just so I make sure everything ends up staying the same volume. And then yeah, we got some hi-hats. For a long time, I don't do this much anymore, I would use the trapdoor. You can use that drum machine to set some of your hi-hat patterns, and then you go in from there, you convert these into MIDI, and you can take those and you can go in and really customize it from there. Just a nice way to get a little more interesting pattern. I like to play it in myself now, but it's a great way to start that. And then we have a crash. Also a crash from that same trap kit. I like that a lot because you can jump in and you can super customize your crashes, as you see here. You can change the pitch, you can change the length, you can do all those cool things, just like any drum designer does in Logic, which is really great. So we have the sample of Tom Hanks, which I can show you where we grabbed from really quick. That's up here. So here's just the scene from Castaway, right? You hear him yelling. That's the one we want, right? That's clearly the best yell of all of them. And it's not super covered up by all these other sounds and things. So I just would have grabbed that from right there, and we threw it down here on this track. As you can see, super labeled. And we have a gain on there to bring it up because it was pretty quiet. EQ'd a lot of those lows out of there and get some highs, get some of the highs back up to really bring out his voice and some of that diction to make sure it can get over the sample. And we got some stereo delay. The very last piece we have is those risers. The riser, you can see there's some tape delay on it. I've EQ'd a bunch of it. I pitch shifted it, just a mix of it, so we get a nice refreshing, not the exact same, and then did some fade ups and fade downs that we turned into slow ups and slow downs. That is really the whole beat. Let me play it for you without the vocals on it. We're dropping this final beat.
I'ma show you how with my Wilson. I'ma leave a red handprint on your face right now. If you don't act right, I'ma show you how with my Wilson.
That is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Check out the music video here. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a beat.
Got like 10 brothers, yes I do, and they all hear this. They hold me down when nobody round, help me get found.